In this lecture, we are going to discuss the properties of region of convergence for the Z transform. Now, if we look at the Z transform, the ROC plays a very important role. The ROC consists of a ring or a circle in the Z plane. Now, here is our Z plane. We have an imaginary axis and we have a real axis. Okay, so in the Z plane, there is a ring or a circle which is centered around the origin. Okay, so here is the origin, and we can say that we have a 0 at z is equal to 0. This is an example only, and we have a pole over here at 1. Okay, and this since there is a pole over here and the entire circle is going about this point 1. Okay, so this since this circle over here is having a radius of unity, hence it is called unit circle. Now this ROC, that is the shaded part, this shaded part is called the ROC. Now this shaded part does not contain any pole. So in this diagram as well, we have seen that this pole is not inside the ROC anywhere. It is over here from where the ROC is starting. So it is nowhere between it. Now the third point is that the Z transform of XZ converges uniformly if and only if the region of convergence of XZ of given discrete signal includes the unit circle. Okay, so the Z transform will be converging only and only if the region of convergence of XZ is given for the discrete signal and it includes a unit circle. Now this thing is valid for infinite duration signals. Now the further part says the ROC consists of a ring in the Z plane centered around the origin. This means that the ROC of XZ has values of which xn into r to the power minus n is always summable. Now it reflects, if we have an ROC like this, then it reflects that the summation, that is n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity mod of xn into r to the power minus n mod is summable. That is, the value is less than infinity. That means we can count on the value or we can get a value. Now further, the points reflect, the fourth, fifth and the sixth point reflect the finite duration signal, and the seventh, eighth and ninth point reflects the infinite duration signal. Now if we look at these points, then number 4 says if xn is a finite and causal, if xn is finite and causal, then ROC will be the entire Z plane except z is equal to 0. So if we check on this, if we have a finite duration signal, that is this xn, and it is causal signal as mentioned and it is of finite duration, then its ROC will be the complete Z plane except z is equal to 0. Okay, so here we can see that we have shaded the entire Z plane and we are saying that the ROC is entire Z plane except z is equal to 0. Now similarly, for anti-causal system, it is mentioned that if xn is finite duration anti-causal sequence, then the ROC is entire Z plane except at z is equal to infinity. Now if we check this here, we can see that the signal is finite and anti-causal. So for such type of signal, the ROC will be the entire Z plane, and we have to write that it does not include z is equal to infinity over that. Okay, why we do not include and what is the reason? we have discussed in the previous lecture. Now next is two-sided or bilateral Z transform. Now if Xn is a finite duration two-sided sequence, the ROC is entire Z plane except at Z is equal to 0 and Z is equal to infinity. So if we check the two-sided signal, we have a finite two-sided signal and both these signals are basically finite on both the sides. Then the ROC will be consisting of the entire Z plane except Z is equal to 0 and Z is equal to infinity. So in this way, these three properties reflect the finite signal. Now the rest of the properties are for infinite duration signals. Now for infinite duration signal, it says that if the signal is causal, then ROC is exterior part of the circle of radius, say R2. So if we check on the diagram, this signal over here is an infinite duration signal. We can see from the dotted lines that this signal is going to infinity, and this is causal sequence, that is right sided sequences are called the causal signal. Now in this it is mentioned that the ROC will be outside the circle having a radius say R2. So this circle is having a radius R2 and the ROC is outside this. So we can say that my ROC is mod Z greater than R2. Okay. Now next property is, if Xn is anti-causal, then ROC is interior part of circle of radius say R1. Now this time if we check on the diagram, then it says, if we can see that my signal is anti-causal because it is on the left side and it is infinite. Okay, we can check out from these dotted lines, and subsequently the ROC for such type of signal will be inside the circle. Now inside the circle with radius R1. Now this circle is having a radius R1 and my ROC is inside it. So my ROC will be mod Z less than R1. Now the next signal will be the infinite duration two-sided sequence. Now in this, if Xn is a two-sided signal, then the ROC is intersection of the two circles or radii R1 and R2. Now if we check this on the diagram, my signal is two-sided, that is it is on left hand side and right hand side as well, and it is going on the infinity on both the sides. Then my ROC of this Z transform will be the intersection part. Now if we can see that one will correspond to R2, one radius will correspond to R2 and one radius will correspond to R1. So the intersection part that is greater than R1 and less than R2 will conform to our ROC. Okay, so in this way we have seen that for infinite duration signals we have different type of ROCs, and for the finite duration signals we have almost the same ROC except for the values of Z is equal to 0 and Z is equal to infinity. While in the infinite duration signal, that is not the case, the ROCs are entirely different. Thank you.